So hello guys, today we are just going to see the Kafka overview. So basically what is Kafka? Kafka is a MOM, that is message oriented middleware, or it's a queue which can be used to send messages between microservices on uh, the Kubernetes or the clustered environment. Kafka can also be used to send messages between different clusters. So this is a distributed, scalable, fault-tolerant, open-source, publish-subscribe messaging system, and it can store and replay the messages. This is the basic messaging uh, framework, how it works in Kafka. On a cluster, there is a broker which starts whenever the cluster starts, and on cluster there are different microservices. There is one microservice which is called a consumer, which subscribes to our topic. This consumer can be written in any programming language, C++, Rust, Go, Python, anything. And there is a producer which actually produces a topic. So we'll see the example of topics and messages. And the consumer uh, waits on the topic. It's like just a listen system call in the Linux that will only listen for this particular kind of topic. And whenever a producer produces a topic and a payload, it sends it to the broker. It's something as send in the Linux, and this broker checks that whether this subscriber or this consumer is subscribed to this topic. It will send that payload and topic to the consumer. So let's see about the Kafka architecture. So in Kafka, uh, brokers are multi-master systems. For example, in a cluster, we have three brokers which act as a multi-master node. There is no slave in the if there are two or more brokers, all are masters. Inside a master, we uh, have partitions. So Kafka stores topics and messages inside the partitions. So do not confuse the name partition with the disk partition. It's not a disk partition. Partition stores topics, and topics is nothing but same type of messages stored in the ordered fashion. And one topic will always store one, sorry, one partition will always store one topic. So one partition cannot store uh, more than one topic. So for example, this topic is orders, and we have the message something as toy. So these are two similar kind of messages. Toy can be bus, toy can be car, and these are the similar messages which are stored for this topic. Again, the topics can be stored on multiple partitions. For example, there is one partition on this broker, there is another partition on broker 2. This all the topic messages can be stored on broker 2, and this provides the replication and fault tolerance. For example, if this broker goes down, then these messages and topics are not lost. Broker 2 will serve the consumers. So there is a concept of consumer group in Kafka. So let's see here. So we have some producer microservices which sends messages to Kafka broker in cluster, and there are some consumer microservices which actually are interested in those messages. So a consumer group in Kafka is a partition which stores information about the consumers. Actually, consumers are can be different physical nodes or can be different microservices altogether, but consumer group is the information which is stored on partition. Internally, all consumers in Kafka are represented by the unique IDs, UIDs, and this consumer group stores the information of all the consumers which are interested in a particular topic. For example, um, this consumer has read till message 1 from topic 1. So this is message 1. This consumer has read till message 1, and it has the offset as message 1. So offset is nothing but the pointer till where the messages are read by the consumer inside the partition, that is inside the partition on the topic. While consumer 2 is also interested in the same topic, but he has read till message 6. This should be on some other node. that is on some other partition. So consumer 2 has read till message 6 on partition 2, while consumer 1 has read till message 1 on partition 1, and both are alive. So this actually provides the fault tolerance. If Kafka broker having partition 1 goes down, then consumer 2 can read from consumer 1, because consumer 1 has already read the message, stored it somewhere, and then consumer 1 do not need to go to the Kafka broker, which is down. Consumer 1 can serve the messages which are required by consumer 2. Right, there is a special topic called underscore consumer offsets, which stores all information of consumers of a group. It maintains committed offsets, consumer messages, and consumer IDs rather. So this is something like this. And each partition of consumer offset stores offset of specific consumer groups. Offsets of specific consumer groups. Okay. So this consumer offset actually has read till message 6. So in upcoming subsequent videos, we'll be looking about different terms in Kafka. Then we'll look at some code about producer producing a topic and consumer consuming it. And definitely we'll look at some queues also, where multiple producers are sending the messages and multiple consumers are consuming it. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.